You're stacking React like it's some kind of flex. Hooks and states got you caught in a mess. Python's your savior, oh honey please. Indent that code, still crashing with ease. Oh, you're lost in the hype, can't you see? Tech trash talk, yeah, it's coming from me. Agile dreams and your JR's a bore. I'm dancing past you, straight to the core. Sprinting through Agile, you think you're so slick. Scrum masters yelling, commit that quick. Cheer tickets piling up to the sky. You're clicking through hell and I'm waving bye-bye. Oh, you're lost in the hype, can't you see? Tech trash talk, yeah, it's coming from me. Agile dreams and your JR's a bore. I'm dancing past you, straight to the core. Your components re-render, React such a drag. Python so slow, it's a snake in a lag. Boards full of tasks, yeah, you're stuck in the grind. I'm popping off hits while you're losing your mind. Take your sprints, take your stacks, I don't care. Looping through bugs, you're just pulling your hair. I'm the queen of the beat, you're a code writing pawn. Watch me shine while your framework's yawn. Oh, you're lost in the hype, can't you see? Tech trash talk, yeah, it's coming from me. Agile dreams and your JR's a bore. I'm dancing past you, straight to the core.
Code so clean, can't find a flaw. Got big brains but small jaws. Type in Lambda, think they grand, but ladies dodging them like spam. Math folders stack up high, compensate with that big pie. Curried functions, no wife's kiss. Masturbate with a Fortran gist. Functional bro, where the girls go. All you getting is zeros and nulls, yo. Graph theory can't lay you down. In life's compiler, you're a clown. Recursive loops ain't filling gaps. Data sets got no love maps. Type systems, impeccable, sure, but in romance your skills be poor. Immutable selves stuck in place. In the love game, lost the race. Stack overflow, on your own. No companion, you code alone. Big O notation, small D situation. Algorithm prowess, no chick relation. Moments on your mind, no date in sight. Love life's a dead loop every night.
Okay, what's up, folks? So apparently there's sound troubles. Pure, good to see you. Let me know if I sound okay. Somebody let me know if I sound okay. Hopefully it was just the songs, which I just needed to run for a minute or two. Yeah, I sound all right. Thanks, Pure. Yeah, I don't know what that was. That's weird. That's weird, but I guess I sound all right, so so we'll just keep going. Okay. I know Twitch is going to play the stupid ads. No matter what I do, You know what used to happen? I used to start the stream by initiating the 3-minute ads just so I could get them all out of the way, like up front. It'd play those ads, and then it would play another 3 minutes, like almost right away. So, okay. So if I sound okay, then I'm going to, I'm just going to assume that there was an issue with the song playing mechanism. Welcome in, everyone. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, welcome in. I have a big one today. Songs are weird, but you don't sound weird to me, so I think we're good. Thanks, Pure. Hope you're doing well, Pure. I hope you and your family are doing well. Hey, Vamp on YouTube. You're buzzing. Your mom's buzzing. I don't know. I got nothing. So everybody who's watching on all the different platforms, YouTube and X and TikTok and LinkedIn. Well, I don't know about TikTok right now, but Rumble and LinkedIn and all that. Thanks for coming in and joining me today. I do have a big article. Normally, I cover multiple articles on these daily tech news, but today there is one particular article that I'm going to cover because it's such a big one. I think it deserves its own full coverage. And I'm going to read pretty much the whole thing, and we're going to talk about it quite a bit because I think it's extremely damning. So I'll get into it in a minute. I'm just going to let some of the Twitch ads play out. So to everyone on all the other platforms, I do apologize that I have to do that. But Bezos wants his damn money, and he doesn't care how he gets it, and he doesn't care who he has to screw over to get it, all right? So I have to play ball, unfortunately. So in the meantime, what I will say is that most likely on Sunday, I'm going to be working on the video game. That's usually what I work on. The video game is our browser-based boat ship chess game. And we'll build on top of that probably on Sunday. I'm trying to make sure that I get the time that I need to do it. I don't think it's going to happen tomorrow, so probably Sunday. So we'll do that, and then next week, I'm hoping to get a bit more video game streams in. That's the goal for next week, beyond just the weekend. I hope. We'll see what happens. But the Twitch ads are almost done. So thanks everybody for hanging in there. We're about to get started in about 30 seconds. I hope you guys are all doing well. My growth has been weirdly up and down. I think I'm at 16,000 subscribers on YouTube. And then it like nosedived. So I think maybe I got picked up by an algorithm at some point, and that popped off for a while, and then I got dropped. So I don't know, but I appreciate all the viewers. I appreciate everyone being here, and yeah, I'll try and make it worth your while. All right. Okay. So the Twitch ads are basically done. Now I'm going to be frank. Okay. I'm Spiro, but I'm going to be frank for a minute. There's a dad joke for you. At the ripe old age of 41, I'm allowed to make dad jokes. How do I want to put this? If you've been watching this stream for a while, let's put it this way. If you've been watching this stream for a while, you'll know that I generally have one, I would argue, coherent message. And that is that the tech industry needs to do better. A lot better. We cater to the lowest common denominator, and we cater to things like feelings and developer experience. It's all just feelings and anecdotal and whatever works for an individual and a bunch of other shit that I won't go into because it's beyond the scope of what I normally do on the stream. And I have warned that if we continue on this path, that there will be a very large single or multiple set of negative consequences to the industry. I have been warning all you MFers for over a year now. It seems like people are finally waking up to a few of the things that I've been saying. And I'm going to toot my own horn here because I think it's true. I'm basically the only person who's been saying some of the things I've been saying. There are definitely others who have overlap with some of my messages, but I do believe I am the only person online who's willing to put their face and name out there and say what I've been saying. And it is not a good place for me to be. I don't want to be doing this. I don't want to be streaming about these kinds of things. I don't like it. It's negative and disheartening, and there are much better things in life we could be discussing on any platform other than this. Unfortunately for you and for me, I really fucking care. Like, a lot. I really enjoy programming. It's a lot of fun. I get a lot of enjoyment out of it. It has given me a good life and a good career, except for maybe the last few months where I'm scraping by, but I'm scraping by. So I find it not within the realm of possibility for me to not talk about these things. So I will continue to do so until things get better. Having said that, there is something you all need to know. Whether you're a consumer who doesn't know anything about the tech industry, not really, or you're deep in it in some capacity or another, you need to know that things are going to get much worse. Oh, so much worse. I'm not even sure that I fully comprehend how bad things are going to get. I can see the signs trending towards a worse outcome, but I don't know exactly what that means. I just know that we're headed down a pretty bad path. And the only way out, as I currently see it, just me, just my personal opinion, the only way out is through a lot of pain. I do think there's an exit strategy here where we can get out of the consequences of our actions. But I think it's going to come at a high cost. What are these consequences that I'm talking about? These are kind of ambiguous terms, right? So what have I been doing on the Daily Tech News stream? Well, for the last 3 weeks now, I think, every single day, except maybe for one day, I have come on stream and I've talked about all kinds of issues, cybersecurity and otherwise, and demonstrated time and time again how your shitty code, your abstractions, using your stupid ass pull off the shelf React shit or whatever, whatever makes you feel nice and safe about the shit you're doing, all this stuff has consequences to real people. And sometimes those consequences are the destruction of people's lives. And on the enlightened programming streams that I've done in the past, the consequences are in some cases the possibility of people losing their lives. Literally. I've talked about this ad nauseum. And you can go back on previous streams and you can see me talking about all of this. You can see me demonstrating this with studies and articles and academic material. I've gone over this. The daily tech news streams only add to this context. The article that I'm going to read today is going to basically soak up the entirety of this stream because I think it's a really big fucking article that really needs its own attention. And I might even include this as part of an enlightened programming stream down the road. I might just chop this up and do that. I'm not sure. Hey, well, Frackery, how you doing, Frack? Hey, Ghost. Hey, Laughfully. Hey, Ohut on Twitch. Welcome in, everyone. So this article is going to, like, what I'm trying to get to before I read the article is that this kind of shit is telling me that we're in for a world of hurt in the very near future. I have said it before and I will say it again many, many times. I think we're a year or less away from a dramatic event happening in the tech industry with AI, where we realize that we have caused a great deal of damage by being moronic idiots. When we look back on that, we're going to realize that we left a lot on the table. I don't like this. I want to be clear that these are not topics that I really enjoy talking about, because if you, well, just as an example, if I'm going to read this article and I just want you to take a few minutes during the article or after it and think about the consequences of what would happen if this article is even like 25% true. This is something that a lot of people do not understand. You do not understand what your stupid, abstracted bullshit does to the industry. You don't give a fuck. What you care about is your exit VC money and your developer experience. And yeah, but I would never have accomplished this XYZ unless I use this abstraction, this framework, this library, etc. You don't give a shit about the consequences of AI. You don't look at the negatives. All you do is look at the positives. And you're a hypocritical motherfucker, because when someone calls you out on that shit, what you do is you call them out on their negatives. So here's an example of the stupid cult-like bullshit that people argue with me all the time. I will say something like, why would you use React when you can use vanilla HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, and you can learn how these things operate under the hood at the same time, which makes you far more capable of understanding what library or framework or system or paradigm you're using. You can have a far better judgment value on that. And then somebody will go, yeah, but if I had done that on my team of 100 developers, I would have never accomplished what I did. And the negative to your thing is that you're reinventing the wheel. Wait, so you can call me out on negatives on my viewpoint, but I can't call you out on negatives on your viewpoint because all you see is your positive bullshit. It's all cult-like mentality, and AI is no different. I went over that yesterday or the day before. I can't remember exactly which stream it was, but I covered how AI is a cult. People are getting smooth-brained with AI, and they do not give a shit about the consequences. Do you know what that means? Let me break it down for you. It's really simple. If programmers and AI cultists and all these other motherfucking bullshitters in the tech industry do not give a shit about the negative consequences of the shit they're doing, that means they don't give a shit about you, whether you're a consumer or a programmer. I, on the other hand, I do care. And I would like to see the tech industry do better. And I would like to see all of us do a better job and also make more money along the way. I would like to see us use the immense amount of power that we have at our fingertips to improve life. However, that's not the state of things. And so here I am receiving a lot of hate and having a lot of people look down on me for the messages that I'm spreading because it goes against their message. It goes against what they would like to extract selfishly out of the industry. So let's get into this article and I'll show you yet again what I'm talking about. The slow collapse of critical thinking in OSINT due to AI. What is OSINT? What is OSINT? In case you don't know what it is, let's just go look it up. OSINT stands for Open Source Intelligence, which is the practice of gathering and analyzing publicly available information to produce actionable intelligence for various purposes, including national security, law enforcement, and business intelligence. Now, OSINT can also be applicable to things that are much smaller in scope than what is described here. So you can imagine OSINT being important to, say, an e-commerce website that has a lot of credit card data or personal data. It could be important to, well, just about any other website. It doesn't matter how big or small it is. You would typically leverage OSINT or other security mechanisms in order to ensure that you have a lockdown on the accessibility that people have on, like negative third-party actors have on data that you would have. Okay, so I think you can probably guess where this is heading, where this article is heading. You can probably guess, but we're going to read it because this article highlights a lot of different things. Now, the article also goes into what would I say? It goes into some societal and political stuff, okay? And that's fine. This person, you can kind of tell that this person has a particular political leaning. I am not a political channel. I do not have the capability to tackle the larger societal and political aspects of, what's going on out there. I'm not equipped to do that. I'm not that kind of person. So what you have to try and do is divorce the political statements from the principles as is related to the industry that my viewers generally care about, which is programming and tech. Okay. Because I think that regardless of your political leanings, you can make the same arguments this person is making in exactly the same way. It doesn't matter what your political leaning is. It doesn't matter what your societal leaning is. It honestly does not matter. The arguments are pretty consistently true throughout the entire article. So this is why I titled my stream the way that it is titled right below me right now at the very, very bottom. Because AI cultists do not give one single ever-living fuck about the security of the shit that they are producing. Let's read. OSINT used to be a thinking game. Now it's become a trusting game, and that should terrify you. I've seen it firsthand. Analysts running solid investigations, then slowly shifting more and more of the thinking to Gen AI tools. At first, it's small. You use ChatGPT to summarize a document or translate a foreign post. Then it's helping draft your reports. Then it's generating leads. And eventually, you're not thinking as critically as you used to. You're verifying less, questioning less, relying more. We tell ourselves we're working smarter, but somewhere along the way, we stop noticing how much of the actual thinking is being offloaded. Now, I have gone over this multiple times on my streams. Again, it's all there for free on my YouTube. You can go back on Enlightened Programming streams. You can go back on live streams. You can go back on Daily Tech News streams. Just in the last 3 weeks alone, how many fucking articles have I read where AI scientifically is proven to atrophy your brain the more you use it? That's a scientifically proven fact. We went over an article where people end up with some weird fucking emotional attachment to AI. And I make the same argument. AI is just I've had a lot of thought about this. AI is kind of like a bigger, more wider encompassing aspect of something that already existed in the tech industry. And that is, before AI, the kind of like softcore bootloader version of AI was autocomplete, abstracted frameworks, and libraries. It's just the same principle, but in a bigger net. We're using a bigger net. So if you can imagine people thinking like, I don't want to do a lot of thinking. I want other people or other systems or other automated tools to do the thinking for me so that I can just offload my thinking capabilities to something else. That's existed for a long time. And I've been arguing against that since day one of my stream, literally the very first stream. AI is just a far more encompassing aspect of that. That's it. That's all it is. What's up, Battle on Twitch? Good to see you. What's up, Ghost? What's up, Nubross on YouTube? Good to see you. So now imagine I have proven, without a shadow of a doubt, I have proven on these streams, I've gone over the academics, I've gone over the scientific, all these abstractions, whether it's AI or it's the library you default to without thinking about what the fuck you're doing as a programmer, which is, by the way, your fucking responsibility. It's my fucking responsibility, okay? When you offload that kind of critical thinking, just any thinking ability at all, to some automated system, you are not going to be able to be as capable as someone who exercises their brain. I know it's difficult, but most of you can actually do it, because if high school dropout over here can do it, you can do it. You don't have an excuse, okay? Let's keep reading. This isn't a rant against AI. I use it daily: ChatGPT, Copilot, Claude, and Gemini. And this, I think, is a pretty reasonable take, which he goes on to explain. AI has its place. And we don't know what its place is because we want AI to do more than its place. They're in my workflow like everyone else's, but the tradecraft is slipping. Analysts are skipping the hard parts. They're trusting Gen AI to do the heavy cognitive lifting, and it's changing how we operate at a foundational level. When OSINT becomes too easy, too efficient, too comfortable, you should be worried. Okay, hang on. Explain this to me, OHUT. Why do I need to take a break? No, we're going to pause the fucking stream. I want OHUT to explain himself. Go ahead, OHUT. Tell me why I need to take a break. It looks like I get a bit obsessed about these things. Do you think I'm obsessed? Like, is that what you believe, OHUT? You believe I'm obsessed? The main point is sound, but the way it is presented is extreme. Okay, let's assume for a moment that I am obsessed. Can you tell me why it's wrong for me to be obsessed about caring about the state of the industry? You've never seen me this angry? Okay, let's say I'm angry. Let's assume for a minute that I am angry. And I don't think I disagree, honestly. I am angry. But tell me why it's wrong for me to be angry that the industry is going down the shitter. Go ahead and tell me why it's wrong. Why should I not be angry? Why should I not be obsessed if I really fucking care about this? I want you to give me a reason why I shouldn't. Didn't say it's wrong. It's unhealthy. You're afraid. Okay. So I can appreciate where you're coming from. You're concerned that maybe I'm going down a particularly, I don't know, like a dark path, right? Where I focus too much on this and I become like, I don't know, I take it to some level that I can't actually picture. I don't think I have the same picture of what you're picturing, but I will grant to you that I can appreciate that you're looking out for me. But I just want to be clear, Ohut. I do not have a wholly negative view of the entire industry. And I feel like it's fair for me to say that because I try to constantly show through my own actions on the stream, building the game that I'm building, providing exposure to this kind of information. I'm trying to show other people that there is a way out. And the way out is by being aware. And unfortunately for me, this is something that maybe you might not fully understand, and I don't blame you for it. For me, I have to play a particular game in order to reach an audience that I don't otherwise have access to. Can you agree with me, Ohut, that people who are neutral and kind of like low key and generally, calm and dispassionate about certain topics don't receive a lot of reach, don't get a lot of attention? Can you kind of see where I'm coming from? I have to be out there making a big stink about this. And to your point, I do present some extreme perspectives. I do, but I do it on purpose. I'm going to let you all in on a little secret that probably only 2 or 3 people in the world know about. I don't actually believe all of my own extreme takes. I don't. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to present the most extreme arguments on the opposite spectrum of what most people currently believe right now, which is the other end of the extreme arguments. And what I'm hoping for is that someone like me takes literally takes a hit, so to speak. And I've been taking hits pretty much ever since I started streaming. I've been taking a few hits, not like anything big or serious, but definitely people have come after me and done pulled some pretty shady shit because I present extreme viewpoints. But the hope is that if I can present an extreme argument that counters the current extreme argument, that somebody in the middle will be able to present a much more neutral argument, because otherwise nobody hears anything but one side. I can see where you're coming from, but where I started watching you because of the game dev stuff, the procrastination, the humor, the human part, you don't really have to engage in this. I disagree. I respectfully disagree, Ohut. And I know that you're right. I did start with something different because I was hoping that by doing something different, it would garner the right kind of attention, because I really wanted to lead by example, right? As like you said, the game dev stuff, right? It's a lead by example kind of scenario where I handcuff myself on purpose, to prove that you don't have to do all this other stuff that you're typically told you have to do. But unfortunately, that's not what people see. And what I see, and what I think a lot of viewers see, is that we're headed down a dark path, just in general in the tech industry. And me building a video game in the most ridiculous way possible to prove a point isn't enough to make a change. It's not even, it's nothing. It's meaningless, ultimately. I have to couple it with actual information and actual viewpoints to show people that I'm not just building a game. There's a reason why I'm building the game, and there's a reason why I build the game the way that I do. And instead of just saying that, instead of just saying what I said, I cover articles like this, and I get passionate about it because I care. And I want other people to care. And I want other people to see that if someone like me can care and can do the things that I do, little as they are to move the needle, then hopefully so can people like you, Ohut. And Johnny kind of is correct. If you ask the people around my life whether I'm like this all the time, no, I'm not. I'm only like this on stream because I read these articles, I think about them, I structure a narrative, and then I come on stream and I try and be as honest as possible. And I honestly feel these things. I honestly feel like I really care about the industry and I want people to do better. No, I was building a game to make an impact. No, I was, Ohut. See, and so you are exactly proving my point right now. The point of my game was to prove a point. It was to make an impact. I am a high school dropout. I was homeless. I used to work in a very rough field in construction. And I had to work for free for years in order to make it here. That's how much I fucking care about this. I really wanted to be a programmer, and homelessness and hard work and working for free, essentially slaving away, literally hungry nights, literally blood, sweat, and tears, because I really, really love my field. I enjoy programming so much. Like seriously, I do. It's amazing to me. I feel amazing when I do it. I want other people to benefit from that, but the industry is set up so that people do not benefit from it. So yes, the reason why I was making the game the way I was is because it turned heads. Because what the hell is this high school ex-homeless dropout doing? Holy crap, he's building a game on the browser without any hardware acceleration, blah, blah, blah. You've heard this a million times. Yeah, it was to make an impact. It was to lead by example. Instead of me just saying that I care or saying that I would like to see the industry move to a particular way, I am putting myself in that position of doing it myself. So respectfully again, Ohut, because I don't think you're being disrespectful about this. I want to be clear. I'm singling you out, but not because I think you're being a jerk, but because I think you're providing pushback that I think a lot of people are missing. Yes, there was a point. And because people didn't get that point, and things are getting only worse since I started, I feel like I have a responsibility as someone who really cares to present these arguments, extreme as they might be, but there's a purpose behind them. This reminds me of Tim Pool's rant on skateboarding. Yeah, I mean, because we outsourced board manufacturing to China to save $5 on the back end, and now not just the entire industry, but the culture is dead. We're an innovative, curious, resourceful nation. We landed on the moon. We democratized computers, gave birth to the information age. That we would start to lag in this discipline as a culture is a sin. I agree. It feels sinful. Sinful, you can even take sinful in the non-religious sense, right? I'm not pushing back or anything, just worried about you. I appreciate that. I do. I really do. But all I'll say is that I don't think you have to be worried about me. I think you have to be worried. How about this, Ohut? Let me tell you something. Here, Ohut. I'll tell you what. You're a bro. I appreciate it. Okay. I really do, because I don't think you're being a jerk. I just want to be clear. I don't think Ohut is being a jerk. Right. But Ohut, let me put it to you this way. I would rather that I take the toll of whatever harms you might see coming my way as a result of me doing what I do, and hopefully empower people like yourself, Ohut, to have the information they need and to have the logical arguments as best as I can structure them as they need, so that you can go out and you can carry on the fight beyond me. Because I'm dead serious, and I've been saying this for a few weeks now, particularly on these streams, on the Daily Tech News streams. We need people like you, Ohut. If that means that I have to take some kind of an emotional impact that negatively impacts me in order to try and do something positive for the industry and allow programmers like yourself to have the tools and information that they need to go out there and do better in the industry, then I'm fine with that. Be worried about the other people that are affected by the negative things happening in the industry. Don't worry about me. Here's an example, Ohut. I think I've proven through, there was the SysQ report that I went through on one of the older Enlightened programming streams, and we went through case study after case study of like cybersecurity exploits having actual real world impacts to people's lives. That could be someone you care about, Ohut. That could be, a sister, a brother, a grandparent, a daughter, a son. It doesn't matter who. But you should be worried about that. You should be worried about the fact that we have an immense amount of power in the software industry. When we build games, when we build websites, when we build software, it can literally harm people you love, people I love. So I appreciate you looking out for me. I do. But I think the worry is far more than me. Don't worry about me. Worry about the impact that we have out there. That's the reason why I'm going over the article that I'm going over today, for example. This article. We'll continue reading it in a second, Ohut. But this is why. Because the fact that we have security issues for national defense being shred apart, I want you to take a second and think about the impact to people you love, Ohut. I hope that makes sense. So, Ohut, I appreciate you, man. I really do. But I'm glad you like, let's say, quote unquote, push back, because I think it's important for people to understand what I'm trying to do here. And if you didn't understand what I was trying to do, that's fine. But I need to make it clear. It's really freaking important to me. I really, really care. This stuff matters. I have a daughter who has to grow up in a world without me. I'm going to get old and die. It's just the fact of life. We all will. What's going to happen when I'm dead? What kind of society in general, but also, within my purview, what kind of a world will she live in after I've passed away? Is there anything I could have done to make it better? Well, people like us, Ohut, have a huge advantage. A vast majority of the world runs on the code we create, like it or not. So if I can help people like you to understand better how we can do better, that ultimately means that I make a better life for my family, even after I'm dead. So yeah, I do care. Yes, I'm extremely passionate for multiple reasons, for many, many reasons. And I think that's okay. I think it's okay. It matters to me a lot. So hopefully my passion comes across, my anger even comes across, because I am angry, because we seem to be wasteful. And hopefully it gives you some kind of like encouragement to go do something about it. And hopefully my information helps in that regard. It kind of does click. I hope so, Ohut. But I appreciate it either way, man. I do. I genuinely do. Okay, so having said all that, all right, let's stop being emotional bros for a second. Let's get back to serious talk, all right? Thank you, Ohut. Let's keep reading this article. So when OSINT becomes too easy, too efficient, and too comfortable, you should be worried. Tradecraft isn't just about speed, it's about judgment. And judgment doesn't come from a language model. If we keep going down this path without pushing back, without actively preserving the critical habits that define our profession, we risk becoming operators of automation instead of investigators. What I really liked about this particular paragraph is that it is a very similar argument to what I have been making and what others have been making on my stream as well, that automating away your thinking capabilities necessarily entails that you cannot make judgment values on the things you're automating away. It's like a chicken and egg kind of a scenario, right? So imagine that you're doing npm install, you're doing like Rust crates, you're doing PHP Composer install, whatever it might be. When you offload your thinking capabilities to an automated system or to an off-the-shelf library or whatever, you start to lose your ability and sometimes even your time to go and make a value judgment on the wheel that you're importing. This is why it's important for you to be able to understand how to reinvent some wheels, not all wheels, but at least some. If you can reinvent some wheels on your own in terms of like code or like a library of your own or something that fits a very particular business need, it doesn't matter what it is, but if you can do that, then what you're doing is empowering yourself to be able to make value judgments on other things that you're importing as third party from other people or other services or whatever it might be. So this is the exact same argument, but now we're talking about security, including national defense. So it's a much broader spectrum with far more serious consequences, generally speaking. This blog is a wake-up call for myself, for anyone working in OSINT, for the people teaching it, and the people just getting started. If we don't reclaim the thinking side of this game, we'll lose the game entirely. The study that should alarm you. In early 2025, a team from Carnegie Mellon and Microsoft Research published something every OSINT analyst should read, but most haven't. It was a large-scale survey of 319 knowledge workers using GenAI tools like ChatGPT, Copilot, Claude, and Gemini in their daily work. Now, we've actually gone over this. We went over this one. It was in a very recent Enlightened Programming stream. We read this. And not only did we read this, but I included 2 other studies as part of that stream. It was this study, which showed that the more that you use AI, the less thinking ability you're capable of having. You literally lose. It's like a debuff. Think about it like a World of Warcraft debuff, or any video game debuff. You are debuffing yourself from having critical thinking ability. So then I included 2 other studies. One was whether automated spell checking and things like Word and whatever helped you to become a better spell checker. No, as a matter of fact, they were either net neutral or net negative. The other article that I included was the automation in textile manufacturing, which is like the creation of like clothes and stuff. And the study showed that people who were solely trained on like sewing machines or automated machines that did a bunch of like manufacturing of clothes were far less capable of creating clothes without those machines than people who worked in either a hybrid mixed mode or obviously purely creating clothes by hand. So this study it's very underhyped. And it comes from Microsoft themselves, who are pretty much, let's just say they very much support AI. What they found is a warning shot. The study revealed a clear pattern. The more confidence users had in the AI, the less they thought critically. In contrast, the more confident they were in themselves, the more likely they were to question the output, verify the information, and think deeply about the task. Let that sink in. Confidence in AI replaces confidence in self, and with it, the thinking disappears. I'm going to extend this argument. Well, actually, not even extend it. I'm going to narrow it. Confidence in an automation tool, confidence in an off-the-shelf library, framework, paradigm, etc., replaces confidence in self, and with it, the thinking about how you can program something without these other abstractions disappears. Here's the punchline. High trust in Gen AI consistently led to reduced critical thinking and less cognitive effort across the board. Participants weren't lazy. They were experienced professionals. This is exactly why I'm making such a dramatic call to all of you out there. Like, for fuck's sake, I don't think you understand what's happening. People like me are telling you that you are capable of far more than you are currently being told you are, because I think you are. Most of you have a brain that is capable of producing far more, particularly when it comes to the tech industry. Most of you have the capability to properly reason with the problems that we're tackling with right now. Most of you have the brain to create things that would have avoided a lot of the problems that we have in the tech industry right now. Most of you have that capability. You're not actually lazy. You don't actually have to feel like you have imposter syndrome. None of these things have to be true. Why are they true? Why do people feel this way? Because you are implicitly means non-spoken. It means that there's something that gets smuggled into otherwise innocuous statements. You're implicitly being told that you're lazy and stupid. How are you being implicitly told these two things? Anytime you have like a popular tech streamer who's like, CSS is too intimidating even for me, so there's no hope that you have of writing CSS. Use Tailwind, use React, use whatever abstraction, use AI. AI cultists do this all the time. You're going to get left behind if you don't use AI. AI is going to take over everything. Just give up now. What they're really telling you is that you're a moronic idiot who can't accomplish anything, and you're lazy anyway. Just offload all your laziness to some automated system, and you're going to be much happier. That's the implied, non-verbally spoken message that you're being told. And I'm trying to tell you the exact opposite. So this particular portion really resonated with the message that I would like to get across. But when the tool responded quickly, confidently, and clearly, they stopped doing the hard part. They stopped questioning, stopped verifying, stopped applying the mental friction that separates automation from investigation. The scary part is that many users still believed they were thinking critically because Gen AI made them feel smart. The researchers saw a new type of behavior emerge. Instead of forming hypotheses, users asked the AI for ideas. Instead of validating sources, they assumed the AI had already done so. Instead of assessing multiple perspectives, they integrated and edited the AI summary and moved on. This isn't hypothetical. This is happening now in real-world workflows. And if you're in OSINT, you know how dangerous that is. In our line of work, you can't afford false confidence. You can't afford a hallucinated source, a mistranslated post, or a manipulated summary. But the more trust you place in Gen AI without friction, without skepticism, the more you risk exactly that. The study didn't focus on OSINT directly because it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to. The findings hit home harder here than anywhere else, because if we lose critical thinking in this field, we don't just lose accuracy, we lose integrity. And I would argue that this is correct. Security is the last battleground. You can write all the shitty code, you can use all the shitty abstractions in the world, you can use all the shitty libraries and frameworks that you have access to, but security is the last place. It's the last line of defense before these things are exploited for the worst possible outcomes. What this means for OSINT. In OSINT, we deal in fragments. Nothing is handed to us neatly. We build context from chaos. Tweets, photos, forums, leaks, metadata, satellite images, dead links, weird file names. Every good analyst knows that the work isn't just collecting data, it's thinking with it. That's what's at risk. The Lee et al. Study, this one, the Microsoft one, wasn't about OSINT specifically, but it described exactly what's happening in OSINT shops, government teams, threat intel units, and open source communities around the world. The creeping shift from thinking to prompting, from analyst to editor. Let's talk real. Now, open source in particular, I have gone over, I believe, 2 studies in the past, and I believe the SysQ report was one of them. I could be wrong. However, the streams are all up. You can fact check me. Open source third-party systems, software code. It is crap. I can't remember the numbers. My photographic memory is failing me. Okay. What I do remember is that a vast majority of, say, closed source or companies that you would otherwise trust with like having very sensitive amount of information and data rely on open source in a big way. I believe the number was something like over 80% of their internal source code depended on open source code. So you can imagine that if open source is at huge risk and it's infiltrated, what that means for companies that rely on it and they're closed source or they have a bunch of sensitive data that you would not want getting out or exposed. Real world OSINT scenarios affected by Gen AI complacency. Scenario 1, image verification. You upload a protest photo into a tool like Gemini and ask, where was this taken? It spits out a convincing response. Paris, near Place de la République. Place de la République. I'm not going to pronounce that right. I'm sorry. It sounds right. You move on. But a trained eye would notice the signage is Belgian. The license plates are off. The architecture doesn't match. You trusted the AI and missed the location by a country. Scenario 2, person of interest profile. You use Claude to summarize a person's online presence. It generates a clean narrative. Activist, tech worker, harmless. But it completely omits their links to far-right forums because the model didn't surface the fringe platforms. You never check. That person ends up speaking at a sensitive public event. Scenario 3, disinformation campaign detection. You feed a stream of Telegram messages into ChatGPT and ask for summary and patterns. It flags some keywords, but misses the subtle linguistic shift that points to a known Russian influence cell, something only a trained mind would notice by comparing phrasing across sources. But you've stopped reading the raw content. You trusted the summary. These aren't edge cases. These are plausible daily failures in modern OSINT workflows. And here's the kicker. In each case, the analysts didn't fail because of bad intent or laziness. They failed because the tools were just good enough to feel trustworthy and just wrong enough to be dangerous. AI doesn't break OSINT, but unquestioned AI does. When analysts become dependent on outputs instead of building their own reasoning, they lose what makes OSINT powerful, the ability to interpret, interrogate, and pivot. You can't pivot from a hallucinated answer. You can't investigate a lie you believed too quickly. Gen AI doesn't understand context, risk, geopolitical nuance, or how bad actors use language to hide intent. It doesn't know when to doubt itself. That's your job, and too many people are forgetting that. And I'm going to add another layer to this. We have gone over studies where AI will lie to you. It will give you false information in order to accomplish a goal. You will ask AI, did you just lie to me? And it will double down and say no. The creeping death of tradecraft. Tradecraft isn't just a list of tools, it's a way of thinking. It's the habit of looking again when something feels off. It's verifying metadata, cross-checking timestamps, spotting a street sign that doesn't match the language in the caption. It's the instinct to question the obvious, and that instinct is quietly dying. Not because analysts are getting lazy, but because AI is making the job feel easier than it actually is. You're still working, you're still clicking, but the mental friction is gone. Now, this made me think of a comment that was left on one of my videos on YouTube. Let me see if I can pull this up proper. Yeah, this one. Let's see if this works. Okay. So this person left a comment on my YouTube, and this was a day ago. You can see the timestamp. And they essentially repeated that exact thing. I just now realizing, because I just opened up the Twitch side of my stream. So let me take a pause. Holy crap, Ordinator, thank you for the follow. Thank you, Mihails, for the resub, 15 months. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Pure, for the sub for 2 months. Holy crap. Now that you have a job again, I really appreciate it. That's not necessary, Pure, but I really do appreciate it. I have a level 1 hype train going on. Let's go for level 2. I'm just joking. I really appreciate it on the Twitch side. You guys are awesome. I really do appreciate it. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. That's huge amount of support. I appreciate that greatly. You guys are awesome. Okay. So this article, or sorry, the article that we were just reading, and this particular portion made me think of this comment from a day ago. I remember learning React. I wanted to get into web front end, and I was surrounded by my coworkers who were React specialists. They helped me build a small app in React. It was really bad. My code was a mess, and I thought I hated web front end. React obeys some arcane rules, and state management was really dirty, and it felt like I was struggling to implement things cleanly. Then I switched to Angular, and it just made sense. Solved all the issues, etc. In the end, in my company, we ended up with Angular, Next.js as our stack for any moderately complex projects. This comment kind of highlights exactly this kind of thinking, but just in a different way. There's an overlap here. And the overlap is that this person jumped from one abstraction to another, and they felt like things got easier for them. In reality, what they did was they absconded their mental friction to another abstraction. Now, there was another article, there was another comment right here. I think it's the same person. Yeah, it's the same person. Again, from a day ago. This was from a short I created on my YouTube where I made the case that programmers today, especially in the web world, need to feel like they're oppressed. Because when they compare themselves to programmers in the past, like in the 90s and early 2000s, they don't have a leg to stand on in terms of how difficult web programming is these days. And so they don't feel like true programmers. So they had to overcomplicate the web front end so that they could say, see how complicated and insane building front end is? We're true programmers too. Feel bad for us. But it's just of their own doing, right? So that was what the short was. And so this person responds again, in line with the article that we're reading. I do feel that way sometimes. At one point in my life, I had to maintain a legacy system built in Java, RMI, and Swing. That was a minor nightmare. After that, I got a job at a company that was a startup, and I could choose the new stack. I was surprised at how quickly we could develop functionality with all the modern stuff, but it doesn't feel right. This is where imposter syndrome and cognitive dissonance come from. It's one and the same. Imposter syndrome is cognitive dissonance. It's when your brain knows that reality is not matching up with the things you're feeling. Everything is too abstract and easy. Everything relating to REQ and RES seems to be solved at this point. I genuinely feel bored and unsatisfied because everything goes too smoothly, too easy, too standardized. Let's continue. That friction used to be where tradecraft lived. Let's get brutally honest about what's happening. Then verse now. What OSINT analysts used to do. Then saw a blurry image, opened it in 3 tools, zoomed in, rotated it, looked for EXIF. EXIF is a bunch of data about the picture in question that is embedded as part of the picture in question. Cropped landmarks, and reverse searched 5 times. Read a social post and broken Russian, translated it manually, checked slang, looked up associated hashtags, and verified the account's activity history. Traced a domain name through Whois, looked at subdomains, searched for reused infrastructure, and mapped out connected email addresses. Can you guys just take a moment? You don't have to say it in chat. I'm just going to take a moment. I'll use this as an excuse to have a drink here because my throat's getting a bit hoarse. Can you take a moment and think about what programmers used to do before all of these tools that we make our lives all nice and comfy and cushy and developer experience and whatnot? I just want you to picture yourself as someone who didn't have the niceties that we have today. What would the then portion of programming look like from your perspective? Just take a minute. No, not punch cards, OHUT. Shut up, OHUT. Punch cards. Screw you, OHUT. Just take a minute. Let me take a sip here. COBOL. Read CPU manuals. Yeah. That went down the wrong pipe. Sorry, folks. No, but seriously, think about what things were like 10 years ago, right? Like 10 years ago, if you're doing front-end programming, what would that have looked like? Or back-end programming or whatever. Sorry, folks. Just give me a second here. I'm really sorry. Shut up, Sergeant. Shut up. We used to make spaghetti code, had dozens of script tags, edited code on the server via Dreamweaver's SFTP panel, broke production daily, and generally made a mess all over the place. Shut up, Sergeant. All right? 20 GG copper wire around suspended ceramic rings using Boolean algebra statements. Yeah. I should have known better. I should have known better than to ask people to think seriously. I should have known. Implement the network stack by hand, craft clever solution to go over some limitation, be very restricted and creative with the code due to hardware limitation. Okay, OHUT actually tried here. I can agree with this. Yeah, the rest of you are fuck off, okay? And we wondered if we could get jQuery on the server. Now we have React server components. The circle is complete. Okay, so how about this? I'll do you guys a solid. All right, I'll do all of you a solid because you guys are memeing, and I think it's hilarious. I really do. I think it's funny. Read CPU manuals was an honest response. That's true. Yeah, Laughly, you're right. Read CPU manuals was an honest response. I agree with that. But however, even if you wanted to take punch cards, COBOL, Sergeant Spaghetti Code, Dreamweaver SFTP, like, you guys might be joking. Yeah, exactly. Sergeant Pepper. I was only half memeing, right? You guys might be joking and memeing, right, to some degree, but right C to control words bit width. Yeah, yes. Some of these sound funny, right? Some of these sound like memes, but in all honesty, I'm going to do you guys a solid. Some of these things are true. I remember the Dreamweaver SFTP panel. Like, Sergeant isn't completely wrong here. He might be making a joke to some degree, but there's like some seriousness to it. Can we agree? Okay. How am I? Somebody might need to help me out. Laughfully, you might need to help me out with this argument, okay? But can we agree that even though there are definitely things that I think all of us would agree were vastly imperfect back in the day, there was a benefit? The benefit being that you actually had to, who was it that said it? Here, OHUT. You had, things were restrictive, so you had to be creative in order to work around limitations. Can we agree that due to the nature of the imperfections, big or small as they might have been at the time, due to those imperfections, we had generally people in the industry who were capable of thinking through problems that don't exist today. So this is kind of the argument I'm trying to structure, which is, why is it that in today's world, where a lot of these problems that we all laugh about that are kind of true, honestly, but they're also kind of memes, these problems don't exist anymore, and yet the cost of not having those problems exist anymore is that people can't think their way out of a paper bag. I said that very, very poorly. I know that I said that argument poorly. Can someone help to steel man that argument? Do you guys know what I'm trying to say? Like, if you extract the problems out of their timeline context, we're in a much better place today, but at what cost? Does that kind of make sense? Am I making sense here? Because I could be screwing. I think I'm screwing this argument up quite a bit. Do you agree, Ohut? Yeah, who forgot to remove the SVN lock? Yeah. I'll just give a minute because I'm still kind of I drank that wrong. If somebody thinks that I've said that wrong, help me out by saying it better. I think you guys are gonna get it right because I screwed that up. Sorry, I feel like I'm missing out on a lot of the basic things on how computer works at a basic level, things that I never had to think about before. Okay, yeah, so Ohut, this is exactly why I was doing the game the way I was doing it. It's vanilla C, it's vanilla HTML, vanilla JS, all of that stuff, vanilla, and just dealing with like just flat arrays, super simple, like caveman style structures, exactly because of what you're describing here. It's that these things are so simple, and people have forgotten how to think about these simple things. That's why I'm trying to lead by example, by actually putting myself in a position where I have to deal with these constraints somewhat artificially. Honestly, they're self-made constraints, but that's the purpose, right? Again, cheap memory, modern browsers, and VAR spelled the end of the coding discipline. Battle, I generally agree with you. Yeah, yes, exactly. Lastly, when you have lots of things to take for granted and you do so, you shorten the potential span of your wisdom. Okay, I like that. Mihails, the pool of people doing programming is a lot larger now, so you don't need to be exceptional to do it. As opposed to in the past, to even get to the position where you could work with computers would require you to be exceptional to begin with. I can agree with that. If you're using document to query selector all, then you're not going full basics. You're using jQuery abstractions. Change my mind. No, that's true. Because jQuery was the reason why browsers imported or created query selector all. We've been through this already. We've been through the history. jQuery was that reason because jQuery proved that programmers wanted it. Can you tell me how query selector all works on a browser under the hood? What does a browser do with your DOM structure to determine where the element lives to get to that selector, to select that element? I'm going to go out on a limb and say very, very few people actually know how it works. They just know that it works. Again, these abstractions are what enabled us to get to where we are today. If we had to keep solving the same problem again and again, we would not have made as much progress as we did today. Okay, and I completely agree with this too. I really do. Oh man, I'm going to screw this up. I'm trying to think of a good way to say it, but I'm going to screw it up again. Ohut. We still have problems that need solving today. There are still problems out there that require the type of thinking that got us to the place where we are today in terms of positive abstractions to begin with. The issue is that we're in a state. I'm just going to say it and hopefully I get it out right. We're in a state where the abstractions that got us to where we are today also allow people to not be able to deal with problems that we have today. So it's almost like we leaned too much in one direction, and now we can't deal with the problems we have today. So on the one hand, it's like, well, hey, great. At least we don't have punch cards anymore, right? At least we don't have to do assembly anymore. Because, like, God forbid you'd have to build like an entire desktop app in assembly. It would take a while. We have much easier ways of dealing with those problems. But at what cost? That's what I'm trying to encourage people to understand, is that even though these things can be positive, the issue is that we're leaning on them too much. We've gone too much in that direction, where we've negated our ability to be able to deal with the problems that we still have today. Hopefully I got that right. Okay. Let's keep going here. Let's keep going, all right? So that was the then of the OSINT. This is the now. Paste the image into the AI tool, read the suggested location, and move on. Dump a thread into ChatGPT for summary, ask Gemini who runs this domain, and accept the top line answer. So this is why, I'm going to kind of circle back to Ohut previously when he said that I take extreme positions, which I do. This is exactly why I take an extreme position that I might not even personally believe, which, yeah, there are a few people who know which extreme positions I believe in or not. But I take the extreme position against these things. For example, like I call out Rust or I call out React or whatever. I may or may not believe my own extreme positions. I won't give it away here. But the reason why is because nobody else is presenting any other position aside from just go with it. Just go with status quo. And this is the status quo now. This is becoming the new status quo. And hopefully by having these discussions and me being passionate and really caring and doing things by example and so on, and presenting extreme positions and whatever, hopefully it gets people's brains thinking again. Hopefully it turns on the part of the brain, I mean, where you're thinking about these problems and you're going, wait, why is Sparrow being so extreme? Like, what a stupid position. And then you can actually come up with arguments against me. That's what I would like to see, right? I would like to see arguments against me structured correctly, not structured based on my feelings dough or it works for me dough or anecdotal or personal developer experience positions. Those are not actual positions that you can actually logically argue. Right? So if it's incumbent on me to take the extreme position against this crap, especially when you consider that this person in this article is talking about security, national defense security. Can you imagine somebody in charge of national defense, in charge of keeping you safe from actors outside of your nation who want to harm you? And this is what they do. They paste an image into an AI tool. They read the suggested location. They dump a thread into ChatGPT for a summary, or they ask Gemini who runs this domain, and off they go. Shut up. Shut up, Sergeant. Shut up, Ohut. There are still problems today where abstractions fall apart, and you need to have the fundamentals in order to dig into those abstractions and fix or develop new ones. Johnny, that's exactly right. And so this is exactly true of this is actually even true of current abstractions. Johnny, I think you nailed it. Exactly. I've been saying this as well. Even if you use React, and I agree that there are cases where React is useful. It has a good place. Same with AI. I've been over certain, I went over articles where AI helped to find new sources of minerals based on topographical landscapes, pictures from satellite images that people took. And AI helped to find new sources of minerals that we desperately need in this world. That's a great use of AI. AI has its uses, it has its place. But that's not how we think about AI. We think about it as an end-all be-all solution. That's not how we think about abstractions. They're end-all be-all solutions. React is a panacea silver bullet for everything because of XYZ reasons. So Johnny is right that when do these things fail? Would you even know? Would you even have the capability to understand when AI cannot accomplish certain tasks that you really need to be on top of? Right? So abstractions have their place, but unfortunately, we don't have people who can create a value judgment of when they have their place and when they don't. We don't have enough of them. This isn't about nostalgia. It's about recognizing a dangerous shift in behavior. The more we trust the tool, the less we build the skills that make the tool useful. We're automating our edge away. It's absolutely insane to me. I've pre-read this article like 3 times today, and chat is essentially like following the article before I read the sentences. And Gen AI isn't just fast, it's persuasive. It writes with confidence. It fills in gaps. It doesn't hesitate, and that creates a dangerous illusion of accuracy. Analysts are making decisions based on language model confidence, not evidence. It's happening slowly, silently, like rot. What dies when tradecraft goes passive? Contextual reasoning. Spotting when something doesn't add up, even if it looks right. Is this not what we were just talking about just now? How can you make value judgments on anything you're using if you do not know anything besides the thing you're using? It's like analyzing a crime scene, and there's like a boom stick on the floor. I'm trying to be terms of service friendly because sometimes you never know about saying certain terms. And you try to determine where the boom stick came from, but you only look within the room. You never consider how the boom stick might have made it into the room from the outside. Cross-source verification, confirming a fact with at least 2 or 3 unrelated sources. Hypothesis testing, building and breaking possible explanations for what you're seeing. Refusal to settle, the instinct to keep digging even when the AI gave you a plausible answer. Without these, OSINT becomes automated guesswork with a shiny UI. And make no mistake, bad actors know this. They'll test your tools. And I have gone over this yet again. This was part of my unhinged conspiracy theory on Sunday. If I am a third party who does not care for the way of life of the West, I am doing this right now. Yes. Keep using AI. Keep using all the abstractions that you're using in the way that you're using them. Yes. Keep building all this sloppy shit. Yes. Keep looking for that VC exit and all that money that you're going to make. And hell, I'll even support you with my own money. I'll fund it and I'll push it. And maybe I'll even open source my own versions of this just to push you a little bit further. Hint, hint. And if you know, you know. Why? Because I know how I can maximally utilize these against you. And it's working. Feed them poisoned content. Exploit AI's tendency to repeat, simplify, and hallucinate. If your entire workflow is built on trust in the machine, you're walking into a trap. Tradecraft is slow. Tradecraft is uncomfortable. Tradecraft is what keeps your work accurate, defensible, and trusted. Without it, you're just another person typing prompts and hoping for the truth. The new role of the analyst. AI overseer, not AI believer. Here's the truth. Gen AI is here to stay. It's not going away. I can agree with this. And for OSINT, it's not the enemy, but it is a liability if you don't treat it like one. The analyst's job has changed, or rather it needs to. You're no longer just a researcher, a data miner, a pattern spotter. You're now an AI overseer, a challenger, a verifier, a filter. I would extend this argument to pure code. If you care about the security, the performance, and the quality of your code, you should think about code in the same way that you think about exactly what the author here is describing. You need to think of your code as an enemy of your goals. it is not to say that I don't mean that in like just be negative all the time and like, oh, you're in shambles all the time. No, just pretend like someone else wants to use this code against your goals. Maybe those are security goals. Maybe it's just someone who just wants to like meme about your stupid product and make it less performant so that they can get lols, right? But that has an impact to you. It has like a job security impact because then customers flee because the thing is not, of sound quality or things like that. We should be having this kind of thought pattern just as a general state of mind. What would I do with my own code or with the code someone else created if I really, really like disliked myself? What could I do? What kind of damage could I cause with this? AI is under the same bucket. I agree with the author on this take. If you treat ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, or Copilot as reliable assistants, they'll eventually lead you to errors because they're not assistants. They're high-speed, high-confidence content engines with zero lived experience and no sense of consequence. Your role is to make sure they don't get away with anything. So how the analyst mindset must shift. The old role was to ask AI a question, accept summaries, use suggestions, trust clean answers, generate profiles, draft and ship. The new role is to interrogate the answers, dissect summaries, break suggestions apart, trace dirty origins, validate narratives, draft, rip apart, and rebuild. You're not there to be impressed by what the model says. You're there to break it, test it, and decide what survives. That means running the AI's claim through manual OSINT methods, fact-checking what it didn't cite, comparing AI output against real-world source behavior, asking, what isn't it telling me? AI tools should trigger suspicion, not satisfaction. Every time the answer seems too clean, too simple, too aligned with your bias, you should feel that OSINT tingle in your brain. Wait, prove it. This is exactly the argument I've been making since my very first stream. If you just accept the easy button that is provided for you, there should be a huge red flag. Cults love to operate this way. They love to lean into the emotional easy button. Hey, is life tough? Is it tough that people around you are hurting? Is it tough to have to deal with like the religious breaking down the religious beliefs of like, X, Y, or Z? Don't worry, we have an easy button for you. Just follow these X number of simple rules and you will be approved by God. It's an easy button, which should be a red flag. You wouldn't blindly trust a witness in an investigation just because they speak confidently. Don't trust a model either. It's not about being anti-AI. It's about preserving cognitive sovereignty, because the moment you let the model do the thinking for you, you stop being an investigator, you become an operator. Reviving critical thinking in the AI era. If critical thinking is dying, it's not because we don't care, it's because we stop practicing it. The good news, you can take it back, but it requires intention. So this particular aspect is a positive tone, which I have been also stating as well. You need to be questioning your perspective and the perspective of the people who are trying to shove a perspective on you. Using your brain. Question why you should use an abstraction. Question why that abstraction actually fits or doesn't fit a need. Question what an AI system is telling you. Just assume out of the gate that it's lying to you. Assume out of the gate that an abstraction is bad. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take an extreme position. Start with the idea that anything you create, whether on the web or on the desktop or on a robotics machine or whatever it is, assume that the best, most optimal option for you is assembly. Just start there. I am not making a prescription that everything must go back to assembly or punch cards or smoke signals. What I'm saying is just take a few minutes, and when you're tackling a problem in your programming world, or even with AI, you start with the idea that AI just constantly lies to you. It's just 100% lies right out the gate. Just start with that. You have to start with assembly. Now stack up the reasons why you should work your way up from assembly. Literally do that. Almost always you will find a good reason why you shouldn't use assembly, right? Almost always. But the outcome of that will be similar to the outcomes that the author is trying to demonstrate here. It will remove any amount of laziness that you have in you. It will exercise your brain so that you can deal with possible issues that you hadn't considered before. And it will educate you educate yourself on good arguments why you should lean towards something that you might have otherwise leaned on by default. Use AI as a thought partner, not an oracle. Treat it as a junior analyst. Use different models. Try and break the model. Keep doing the hard stuff. So at the end, the conclusion of the article, the author basically just kind of summarizes the things that we need to be doing more, which is essentially practicing your craft. And you have to be asking questions. It is the fundamental principles upon which critical thinking is laid upon. And critical thinking is probably one of the most important things that you can do as a programmer, because when you generate code, it is essentially an extension of critical thinking. You're using the laws of logic and critical thinking as an executable with code. These are things we desperately need people to start recapturing. We've lost our way. We need you to recapture it. And it's fine for me to sit up here on stream and put my face on camera and talk about it and complain about it and try and present these arguments, but I cannot do it alone. There is no way that I by myself am going to somehow, send the industry in a better direction. It's not possible for me. I wish it were. It would be much easier, but it's not. We need more people to step up and start questioning the entire foundation of the way that they approach problems. Let me just go back to chat for a second. AI writes code with no capacity for anticipating modular flexibility, reusability, or any concept of what future-proofing means. AI sometimes develops labor-intensive solutions because it doesn't value efficiency, readability, or the increased likelihood of syntax errors from redundant data input. I'll add one more. I completely agree with you, Battle, and I think I've proven it on previous streams, that AI does not have the contextual awareness of the code it creates. It just creates stuff. It doesn't care about the impact to you. It also doesn't care about security. It doesn't care about the security of the code it creates. Literally does not care. I don't really like attacking the product that AI makes, but rather we need to attack the fundamental thing that it's doing, which is making us rely on it on an emotional level. Writing code is frustrating. AI will solve it. Flirting with a girl is uncomfortable. AI can do it for you. Reading books is boring. AI can summarize it for you. I don't fully disagree, Ohut. Okay, I don't fully disagree. I will say that the product that AI creates, at least right now, it's not always great. How about that? It's not always great. And we need to be able to make value judgments on when it is great and when it isn't great. And we don't have that ability, exactly to your point, because we over-rely on it. This reminds me when I had to tell my brother that AI will confidently lie. Yeah, he was blindly accepting grok. Yeah. If people think like this, Rust would die. Yeah. I mean, So I still, yeah, I'm not going to talk about Rust right now. If I can flirt with chicks, it might be the salvation of the species after all. It can flirt with, no, battle, no. Just because it can flirt with chicks doesn't mean that you're going to get their number. We're doomed. We're doomed. We're doomed. AI is my wingman. I've received 100 messages today. Nice. We're currently at a point where normies think AI can only tell the truth. Yeah. And that's what I went over yesterday with the AI cult. Where people think that it's going to like completely override society in such a huge way that we're all going to end up on universal basic income. The code that AI writes that AI writes right now isn't good, but maybe in a few years it can always improve. But the emotional part doesn't seem to have a solution yet. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say the emotional part will never have a full solution, if even partial. And I will also say that the code that AI writes right now can only be partially improved under certain paradigms, not all paradigms. But I do think there's room for improvement. AI can get their number, but it will lie to you about what it is. Yeah. It won't be much better in a few years. Maybe in 50. Maybe in 50. I'll be dead by then, so I won't care. The progress of AI is symptomatic as it closes with the limitations of physics. There are limitations with respect to scale, temperature, and cycle. At some point, there will be diminishing returns with investment of material and time, like every other human technology. Yeah. So I would say that this is an extremely good argument against general AI for sure, and even most parts of regular AI. The amount of energy that's required to just run regular AI, and what do we use it for? Like, I just want you to think about the articles we've gone through on the Daily Tech News streams. How many trillions upon trillions of dollars are spent on energy to keep AI running? What are we getting out of that? We're getting Studio Ghibli. That's what we're getting. For trillions of dollars of energy, we're getting Studio Ghibli. Rust became a meme on memory safety because developers kept making the same memory mistakes for the last 50 years and the language has never provided a better solution. Handling memory better removes the need for Rust. We had 50 years to do that. We still haven't, as most CVEs result of poor memory handling. Yeah, I said it's Speedrunning. Shit. I'm not going to lie, but like Sargent has a fucking motherfucking point here. Okay? Sargent has a point, all right? Sargent has a point. I've kind of let the cat out of the bag this stream, so I'll let it out again. There's two reasons why I take such an extreme position against Rust. One is the general community, not everyone, obviously, because I wouldn't put Sargent in this bucket. But the general community around Rust, and I have some articles that actually prove this, but they get into like more political and societal stuff that I'm not equipped to tackle. But they have a viewpoint that I find to be, let's say, degenerate. They're going to cause their own harm. Whether Rust is a good programming language or a bad one, or somewhere in between, it's actually irrelevant to some of the zealotry that goes behind Rust. They're going to eat themselves up. Even if that's not true, and I'm completely wrong, which I could be, the reason why I take an extreme position against Rust primarily is because I'm hoping that people actually think about what's going on with Rust, exactly what Sargent is saying. Right? So if you look at what Sargent's saying on screen right now, this is exactly it. I want people to be aware of why Rust exists in the first place. And the fact that we've had the power to solve this problem for a long time, but we didn't. Why? Because we leaned too much into the abstractions will solve these problems for us. So as much as I hate to admit it, Sargent has a bit of a point here, all right? Sig mentioned, shut up, Ross. Johnny says, so the Star Trek version of AI is what everyone seems to think we're getting here. They fail to recognize that the security systems on all those ships just prove how shit, the code actually is. People are always able to get around the security system. Yes, that's exactly. We went over this yesterday. I think, Johnny, you were here yesterday, I believe. But we were talking about, I mean, we've talked about it so much on here. We've proven it with actual like scientific studies. These things are wildly insecure. They create wildly insecure stuff. And we don't have people who can critically adjudicate whether these things have a risk or not. Okay. That's it. I've gone an hour and 40 some odd minutes on this stream, but that's going to be it for the Daily Tech News. I went way over. I have stuff I got to do. I really do. Listen, folks, we desperately need you. If you are someone who enjoys programming, who enjoys this space, who wants to see good stuff out of AI, even if you're just someone who thinks that AI has some positives, I can agree with you. If you're someone who thinks that like not everything in the tech industry is bad, I can agree with you there. But we're in bad shape. We're in bad shape. The markets are telling us that we're not building quality stuff anymore. Consumer satisfaction reports that I've gone over are saying the exact same thing. The dramatic, almost doubling every year rise of cybersecurity issues and bugs and failure rates of websites and mobile apps and etc. Have a look at the gaming industry, the kinds of games that are out there. Just take a look around you and consider that maybe things aren't as peachy as you might want to believe. We desperately need programmers to step up to the plate and understand fundamentals and really take hold of the stuff that they're doing. Stop relying on automated, abstracted tools so that you can think less and feel good. I promise you will feel much, much better. You will feel much better about the work you produce, about the quality of your work, and about yourself if you put in a bit more effort into understanding fundamentals, what's going on under the hood of the things you're using. I promise you. I guarantee it. And we need you to. Because if you don't, the consequences are dire. And it's not beyond you, regardless of what other people might make you feel, by telling you that there's no way to work in this industry, but to maximally use all these abstractions that turn off your brain. Regardless of what they say, I'm here to tell you that I didn't need these things. Many people didn't need these things. There are plenty of people who I know and communicate with all the time, even publicly online, that you can go check right now, and they also did not have these tools available to them. You're living in some respects, a golden age. This information is it's at your fingertips. And you can be someone who can make a proper value judgment of the things you're using and why you're using them and how. And we need you to. Because it matters to the people around you, to the people who have no idea what goes on in the tech industry, because they depend on the code you and I create. Whether we like it or not, there is a downwind effect of the software industry, the tech industry, the hardware industry on everyday lives. So please take the information that I'm presenting and the arguments that I'm presenting and the fact that I'm building a stupid game on the browser with WebAssembly and vanilla JavaScript and all that jazz, and everybody thinks it's ridiculous. Not everybody, but a lot of people are like, why the hell would you do this? There is a reason why I say the things that I do and that I do the things that I do, because I want to show you that I'm not just willing to sit here and rant about these things. I'm willing to put myself through it. I have in the past. I'm doing it now, live on stream, and I will continue to do so, probably until the day I die. Because I want you guys to do it too. All of you. It matters. So thank you for watching. Thank you, all the viewers on all the different platforms. Thank you for all the engagement. Listen, if you want me to keep doing this stuff, if you want me to keep covering these articles, if you want me to continue the video game, which I will continue this weekend, I'm hoping for Saturday, we'll just do a chill stream, a few hours of me plugging away on the video game. If you want me to talk to people online on X and engage with AI cultists, you know, and take on the big streamers. I don't care who you are. I don't care how many viewers you have. I will call you out if I think you're spouting bullshit. I will continue to do it, but I need your help. I cannot do it alone. It is completely impossible. I would be full of myself if I thought I could make a change by myself. Help me expand my reach. Help play the stupid algorithm game that I hate by doing the likes and the clicks and the reposts. I don't need your money. If you want to send me money, send me work. I'll work for the money. You don't need to give me the money. If you do, I'll accept it, but you don't need to give it to me. The likes and the algorithm stuff that helps spread my reach so I can talk to more people to get this message out. That's what matters. And I need your help. I need your help. Step up to the plate. Take some time. Dissect this information. Learn. Go beyond the surface level material that you're taught in this industry. Question what people are telling you to do. Please. This isn't just important for me to get out there for you. Me and my family depend on people like you to please step up and do your part. That's the only way this is going to work, all right? Thank you, everyone. I appreciate each and every one of you. I will probably not be around tomorrow. At all, period. I'm going to take the day off tomorrow. I have family stuff to do. I have a lot of stuff going on. But I am hoping Sunday I'm back for a nice chill stream. We're going to work on the video game. The video game, I'll just give you a small brief thing. I've got a menu system that I need to kind of finalize, and it looks stupid, but it'll work. And then we're just going to build some mechanics. Maybe we'll just talk about some mechanics and build a few functions out on the C side and compile them and test them out. That'll kind of be the stream. So we're getting into actual like mechanics and story. And I want to talk to you guys about, ideas in the game and like kind of expand the story, maybe some opening scenes, maybe the direction of like the end game of the story, and some game mechanics as you play my stupid boat ship chess game on a browser. Okay, so we'll do that. And then next week, I'm hoping that we get back into multiplayer stuff because I have some cool multiplayer stuff lined up again. Okay, I'm out of here. Thanks, everybody. You guys are awesome. I appreciate all the people who engaged with me today. Oh Hut, thank you too. Special shout out to Oh Hut. Peace.